Hello. Today I'm going to be talking to you about processing on the way in. So recently, very recently, I've been doing minimal stuff once the sounds have been recorded into Pro Tools in terms of the production process. Things like effects, obviously, but things like EQs and changing compression characteristics and getting sort of the more of the mix side of things, I can't be bothered, to be honest with you. I'd prefer it just to be done with the sound that I put in or the sound that I record in. So the past few projects have been most of the processing done on the way in, committed to the audio that I've recorded in. Okay. Now this goes for soft synths as well. A lot of the time I'll take, if I'm using a soft synth, which is normally just Omnisphere, I might have that outputted out of a set of channels, like one of the virtual tracks from this UAD software, just to process and then just record back in. It's kind of a faff and you might as well do it in the session. But again, just for the knowing that I'm doing it, I sometimes do that. But all of the audio, whether it's the synthesizers or the drum machines and so on, will go through some processing. Now, I've done a video on this before talking about what the processing is. This is different now to what it was. It changes constantly. It always changes. But I feel like I've found something that is more of a where I've ended up with some of the processing. So today I'm just going to talk about one of them, and that's the SP16, which is just here. Now, I've been using this as my main drum machine. It does a lot more than drums. It's a sampler. It does loads of other things, but I've been using it as my drum machine to make my breaks, make my drum breaks. Now, normally I would have a kick drum on its own, snare drum on its own, percussion parts on their own, and so on, and stem it out. But I can't be bothered to do that anymore. If I'm making the tune, I want the loop to sound as good as it can be, and then I further edit that loop if I need to at a later date, just with cuts and pastes and move arounds and arrangements and things. But the sound of that, I want to be, as I record it, I want that to be the sound of the drums. I don't want to have to do any post-processing. So in order to do that, I've stumbled across a plugin chain that I think works really well. I'll play it first so you can hear it going through. Ready? So that's a loop. So that's all single sounds, just programmed on the on here on the SP16. It's great for that. Really like it. It's kind of like my go-to now for drum programming, pretty much. I like the little sequence. Anyway, don't worry about that. We're talking about the processing. So if you look on the channel strip, what I have is, first of all, it goes through a Neve preamp. This isn't in unison. This is just in on an insert. If I go to the overview here, or the inputs, you'll see that I've got Neve pre's on all the other inputs. So the Moog, the mic that I'm talking through now, and the Pro 2 down here go through the same Neve preamp. But further, this is only a 4 mic pre version of the hardware, which isn't a problem because I can just have the same plugin as an insert, really. And I'm using it online anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's kind of supposed to make a difference with all impedances and stuff with the unison version, but I don't care. I like the sound of it. So on the first plugin on here is the Neve preamp. Now, there's nothing going on here other than a bit of drive compensated output, pretty much. Next, that is there purely just to give some sort of warmth and a bit of thickness, bit of added saturation to the input sound. Give it like a mic pre sound, and the sound of the Neve pre is just, it's great. Next is the Neve again, but this is the channel strip. It's the 88RS, but this is the legacy version. There is the full version, however, that is massively CPU hungry compared to this one. And this one, I don't need the input state. I don't need the input stage or the preamp part, because I'm using the Neve preamp already. So here I'm just using the EQ, no compression, no gating, no filtering, nothing, just the EQ. One of the main reasons I like these EQs, these channel strip emulations, is because it doesn't give you an exact number to where you're at in terms of the frequency or the volume. So here I've just done it kind of by ear. So on a high shelf, I'm around about 13, between 12 and 13K, and a bit of volume there. Yeah. And then further down, around 2.5K, again, same, maybe a little bit. I call that first notch there a little bit. I don't know what that is in decibel, but that much. Just sounds nice. And then further down, around about 80 hertz, ish, which I thought that would be maybe 85-ish hertz, just looking at the numbers on the dial. And again, just a little bit more than a little bit on the first bit there. And then compensated for that on the output by a little bit down, because it's the first one again. After that, it goes through another whole channel strip. Now, I wasn't going to add this channel strip in because it just went against everything. Like, you wouldn't have a Neve console with a Neve preamp going into a Neve EQ into a SSL channel strip. But in this way you can. And I like the sound of both of these EQs. They are very different. Okay. I'm not necessarily keen on the Neve compressor in this. It makes things too smooth. It smooths things off. It's not a very sharp compressor. It's nice. It's a beautiful warm compressor, lovely on vocals, but for drums, it's not really for me, especially sort of breaks, clickier sort of drums. And the EQ on the Neve is very smooth, nice and sheeny, whereas the SSL one, I find a lot sharper. It's quite sharp. So what I've got, first of all, on the Neve, these EQ settings for the warmth, I've then got the same-ish areas in the SSL that I'm adding. Okay, this is a little bit harsher though. Not, I wouldn't say harsh, sharper. It's more of a sharper tone. So I'm getting the thickness and warmth from the Neve, but then I'm getting the presence within that area with the SSL. The only difference is the SSL's also got the compressor on the way in here, just tickling it. I'm also driving into this channel strip, so the signal coming from the preamp and the Neve EQ is being driven into this channel strip, and I've compensated on the way out. Okay, now, instead of faffing about and trying to get this perfect and like mute these all at the same time or bypass them so you can hear the difference, what I've done is in the background, I've recorded it into Pro Tools. So here you can see, just here, I can press the insert button and it either has it in recording those inserts or just monitoring those inserts. So what I've done is that. Let's go back here to Pro Tools. Maybe. Let's go to Pro Tools. There we go. And in Pro Tools, you see here, look, I've got a process version and a clean version. Process clean, process clean. They're pretty much bang on in terms of their overall loudness compensated. It might be like 0.3 of a decibel more on the louder one, on the processed one, which we could probably compensate for. But just for now, I just want you to hear the difference, okay? So the purple ones, processed, and the clean ones are the blue ones, the clean ones with no processing on. So all of those plugins bypassed, straight clean out of the SP16 in blue, and then in purple is the processed ones. So let's have a listen. Pretty drastic difference. The difference there to me is presence, excitement, sizzle. It's just warmer, it's thicker. You can actually see how thicker it is just by looking at the waveform. If I just zoom into these two quickly, you'll see the waveform thickness around these is just so much thicker, generally due to the compression from the SSL compressor, which again is just lovely. It's lovely compression on that channel strip, but it's thicker, it's warmer. The quieter things are a little bit louder, again, due to the compression and so on. But the top end is more exciting. The bottom end is warmer. It's more present. It's got more character to it, which is kind of the main thing I wanted to be doing when working with this, is adding character. It's getting that finished sound. Now, a lot of those processes, I could have just recorded this in clean and put the processes on afterwards in the session. That's fine. But I don't want to have to do that. I want the sound of it once it's in. Now I've got more of a vibey sounding drum sound. When I'm messing around with synth parts, I'm going to get more inspiration to do some other stuff because it already sounds like it's finished. Do you understand what I mean? It's more final. It's more of the final sound. Now, I've still got headroom in all of these. It's not like I'm smashing the hell out of the inputs on them, but they're present, they're forward. The drum sounds really nice. Normally, I would have gone down the single kick drum, stem, snare, whatever. But because this is just my tune, I'm going to be using this loop in my next drum and bass tune, most probably. I can take this drum and bass part now. Let's look at this one. Just here, So we'll take this one. I could then chop out the different sections in it. So let's have a look. Let's change this to 16th notes. I could take maybe that bit, and maybe that bit, and this bit, and maybe that bit, and maybe take this one, but then just reverse that and then change up the loop as it goes further down. But it's all, the sound of it's done. The sound of it is done for me. Do you see what I mean? While I'm here, actually, let me just do that. Where's reverse? Reverse, please. Yes. There we go. Let's have a listen now. So maybe take that, duplicate that over, see what that sounds like. Yeah, that was rubbish. Maybe take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe have those there, see what that sounds like. And so on and so on. But I've already got the sound that I want. Let's undo all of that because I don't want those chops in there. There we go. So yeah, hopefully that was interesting as an insight. All about committing to the sound that you want. I've committed to the sound that I want as I record it. That is now the sound of my drums. I've still got room and headroom if I want to do further processing, but it's going to be minimal compared to what it would have been if I'd have just recorded it in before. Now this stays like this. If I go back to here, this is whenever I record the SP16, it will always have that processing on it, which means that when I'm making something, it's going through that processing. I'm not putting this on after I've made the drum loop. I'm making the drum loop with that processing on because I'm listening to it going through this processing. That's another big thing about this. Being able to hear the sound that you're making. It goes the same with the synths, with the live forms over here. With the live forms, I've got the pre, the Neve pre again, and then some of the EQ and compression again from the SSL strip, which just makes it sound more lively, which then creates more tone for the sound, which then directly impacts the sort of tweaking that I do to the sound afterwards, because the sound of the processing is on it for me to record it and to monitor it. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Nearly 1,000, which is kind of big for me, seeing as it's just me doing random videos at random times about random stuff. Quite niche, but yeah, thanks to the people that have subscribed so far. Comments about other videos that you want me to do, or I will just keep putting videos out like this of random stuff as I come to it and think it might be interesting to someone other than me. So sweet. Have a wonderful Christmas, because it's Christmas time. Bye.